Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? Good morning, everyone. Before we launch into our presentation, I do want to offer our interpretation services. Linguista, would you like to provide instructions?
Of course. Hola, muy buenos días a todos. Esta junta tendrá interpretación simultánea en el lenguaje de español. Si gusta acceder a la interpretación cuando la han prendido, si usted utiliza una computadora, buscará el icono de un mundo que aparece abajo de su pantalla. Después seleccionará español y los invito a silenciar el audio original. Si usted está por tableta o por teléfono, el proceso es un poco diferente. Buscarán los 3 puntos que aparecen en su pantalla. Después seleccionarán interpretación de lenguajes. Después seleccionarán español, una vez más silenciar el audio original y cuando han acabado arriba de la pantalla habrá un botón que dice listo o done en inglés. Selecciónelo para de esa manera escuchar en español. Muchas gracias.
And Dave, I'm going to go ahead and give those same instructions, very pared down version probably in English as well. And so as we are recording this and wanting to offer the recording in English and Spanish, we're going to go ahead and start our interpretation channels. And so what that'll mean for you is at the bottom of your screen, once the interpretation becomes enabled, there'll be a little globe. You'll click the globe and click into whichever channel you're wanting to choose. So if you're an English speaker, you'll click English, and so you can go into that channel. And you can also click mute original audio. And I think with that, Dave, you can go ahead and start the interpretation.
Okay.
Sorry, Stephanie. Don't mute the original audio. The English speakers don't mute the original audio.
Thank you so much, Amelia. So you'll click English and then don't select mute original audio. Thank you so much.
Okay, it is now, interpretation has been engaged, so thank you very much. All right, well, thank you everyone who are here today. We are happy to have you to discuss the Shafter AB 617 Community Group, our Urban Greening Emissions Reductions Program. Our RFP just recently launched, and this meeting today is to discuss, just to provide information and answer any questions there may be regarding this RFP.
And Dave, can I get you for 1 second? Would you be able to give Juan Luis permission to record locally? You'll go ahead and click the 3 dots on top of Juan Luis, and then it should give you that option.
Okay, let me see. Got you. Okay. Got it, Juan.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, just a little general information about the Urban Greening Emission Reduction Program. This is a community identified project, and the project was developed by guided shared experience and knowledge from our local community members through input and involvement on steering committees and other engagements through the AB 617 selected community. The goal of this RFP is to select an eligible entity to implement urban greening projects in the Shafter AB 617 community through our RFP process. We are currently working with the community to reduce exposure to emissions and provide several key co-benefits through this program. A little background on AB 617. It requires that CARB, the California Resources Board, and the air districts to develop and implement additional plans and measures to reduce air pollution exposure in disadvantaged communities. Specifically, the Urban Greening Emission Reduction Program is part of the California Climate Investments and is a statewide initiative that puts billions of dollars of cap and trade dollars, to work reducing greenhouse gas emissions, strengthening the economy, and improving public health, especially and particularly in disadvantaged communities. Some key benefits of urban greening is 1, it reduces the impacts of climate change, protects local air quality by reducing harmful pollutants, it reduces emissions from the energy demand of cooling houses, it reduces topsoil runoff that protects local waterways and prevents water pollution, and also it absorbs dust, wind, and sound while providing a natural view. The Urban Greening Emission Reduction Program has up to $50,000 available in grant funding. The applicants must be in compliance with all state and federal conflict of interest laws, and we require that all applicants who are interested in applying for this program disclose any funds that they might have received in contribution towards their projects. Additional funding does not preclude participation, and funding may be leveraged to expand your projects. However, match funding is not required. The selected applicants or entity will be awarded a contract for a minimum of 10 years. And this will include 3 years of initial 3-year program, a portion of the program to plant trees and implement the project. The remaining portion of the project would be to maintain the project, comply with any requirements, and make projects available for inspections as necessary. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Catherine Tao, and she'll talk a little bit about the program eligibility and submittal.
Thank you, David. As mentioned, my name is Catherine Tao. I am a Senior Air Quality Specialist here in the Grants Department, and I will be going over the requirements for the application packet with the first slide covering the criteria for applicants that are eligible to apply. The table includes applicants that are a joint powers authority, special district, nonprofit, tribal government, or a public agency with experience implementing urban greening projects within the Chapter AB 617 community, or those that can work with other projects that have this experience. Other criteria on this table, which can be found in more detail on page 4 of the RFP, include making sure that the interested applicants and their proposed projects can meet program requirements. In the next 2 slides, we'll go over the key items that will make a project eligible. Most importantly, proposed projects must be located within the Chapter AB 617 community. There are a few required species selections, which include plants that are non-invasive and non-poisonous, along with a few other items listed. We have also provided additional resources for plant selection in Exhibit C of the request for proposal for applicants. On the next slide, a project is eligible for reimbursement of up to 100% of eligible cost, which are provided in the table below and include related items such as supplies, materials, up to 25% of construction cost, which include design, permitting, outreach, and administration. For ineligible cost, overhead includes items such as rent, utilities, and office equipment or supplies. The list of suggested areas in the next slide were provided by the Chapter Community Steering Committee and have been identified as those that would benefit from this program. As you can see, several schools have been identified along with the Chapter Sports Complex, the Veterans Park, and other locations that can help reduce exposure to emissions for residents. In the next 2 slides, we'll be going over the evaluation process and scoring criteria. For the project evaluation process, the applications that are received by the district prior to the deadline will be evaluated and scored by the district and the Chapter CSC. We plan to conduct a meeting with the Chapter CSC to go over the proposals and rank them based on the scoring criteria, which I'll briefly go over in the next slide. Once a selection has been made, all of the applicants will be notified and the district will issue a contract to the selected applicant. The table on the next slide shows the scoring criteria, which the proposals are based on, and they include cost effectiveness, exposure benefits, co-benefits, species selections, and project readiness with a maximum point available for each category. As we discussed in the scoring criteria earlier, there is a cost effectiveness analysis, which require an emissions reductions calculations using established tools. The district has provided a user guide in Exhibit B to help with this process. At this time, I'll go over the documents that are required for the proposal. This information is also identified on page 9 of the RFP and includes the applications, the certifications form, the Form W-9, the results from the CNRA draft urban greening benefits calculator tools. We will also be asking for quotes, the aerial map, and photographs of the proposed sites. On the next slide, there is a section of the application that we like to focus on, which is an important part of the scoring criteria. Applicants are encouraged to submit answers to the section on a separate documents, as long as the proposed answers for each of the questions are in the order presented. But we will also be taking the answers via the applications as well. And some of these key sections include the project summary, the location of the project. We'll be looking at a description of the proposed greenery, the irrigation systems, whether it's drip or any other methods. We'll be looking at the key individuals that would be implementing the projects, the total funding amount that will be requested, the property owner information, the area of project footprints, among several other items. For the program process in the next slide, this is just the summary of the steps that we will be following for the program, which will include the submittal of the application, the review and consensus of the proposals by the district in the CSC. Once we have offered a contract to the selected applicants, we will implement the program and go through the reimbursement and project maintenance process. On the next slide is a table of the schedule. As you can see, we had released the RFP on June 13th. Our informational meeting is today. On July 28th, at 5 p.m. Will be the proposal submission deadline, and we will go through a proposal review and final selection in approximately 90 days, hopefully sooner, but this is
lona que lo pone un pie adentro de su terreno, se pueden decir.
Pues Miguel dijo que también que cortaran.
Folks, do you mind muting? Thank you.
The next slide is the RFP submittal and contact information. David Lopez, who just spoke earlier, is our supervising air quality specialist over this program. He can be reached at the information on the slide. And if you're submitting the proposal, please also submit it to David Lopez at the information on the slide. At this time, we'll go ahead and open the floor for any comments or questions that you may have regarding this RFP. And I'll go ahead and pass this back over to David or Stephanie to help lead this.
Thank you, Catherine. Oh, thank you for the presentation. Are there any questions? Might be useful to raise your hand, or usually on the button you can hit your hand and you can show if there's any questions, or it's kind of a small group. Maybe we can just go back and forth.
I see Melissa's put in the chat that they have a question. Go ahead, Melissa.
Can you hear us, Melissa?
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I was trying to type. I saw the word reimbursement, and as a very small nonprofit, to us, that's a scary word. Does that mean we need to pay for things and have the Valley Air District reimburse us as we go along in the project?
Yes, Melissa, as part of the program requirements, it does require a reimbursement process. In the RFP, it does allow for additional fundings if any applicants have that, but with the process, it does need to be paid, and then we'll review the invoices and issue a reimbursement to the applicant.
Okay, that's good information. Thank you.
Sure. Are there any other questions?
I have one more.
Sure, no problem.
How long is the reimbursement process? If we got the grant and we were to get $50,000, let's say, and we had to borrow the money, basically, how long is the reimbursement process?
Typically, I'm sorry, go ahead.
For the reimbursement process, depending on the programs, it does take a about 30 days, but with some programs, we do work with the applicants. Should you need to have a quicker review on these claims, we definitely can work with you on that.
Perfect, thank you.
And I guess just on those lines, I just wanted to highlight also a line that we have regarding reimbursement, and just that being, if the applicant is unable to carry the financial responsibility of reimbursement, they may partner with a local public agency or 501c3 nonprofit.
Okay,
And that information is under applicant eligibility of the RFP.
did you say a local business or did you say a local entity such as City of Shafter or something like that?
They may partner with the local public agency or
Public.
501c3.
Okay, we are a 501c3. So, okay, public agency, got it. I'm just taking notes. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. And let me
Thank
just, I'll go ahead and pop it into the, if Melissa, if you're able to see the chat, I'm going to pop in the RFP link, and I'll also put the page number as well.
Oh,
for your reference.
perfect. Thank you.
Alyssa, you'll also notice that in the RFP, it is mentioned up to 90 days. But again, we'll be working with you as needed.
Okay, thanks. Don't we love our cell phone cameras? We can just take a picture of that link and we have it. Thank you.
Makes it easy.
Mhm.
Is there any other questions?
Well, I saw, one of my questions was about irrigation, but I see that irrigation is eligible. And that is fantastic. You know, we could do our best with the low water irrigation systems, but things are so pricey. So I'll just check into all that. Is there a budget in the RFP that we need to fill out ahead of time and send it to you?
There is currently a budget section in the application. We'll be looking at that information to see how much will be requested. And I believe in the calculation tools, I'll be asking for the irrigation information as well.
Okay, and we use iTree tools for carbon calculations?
There are several tools that you'll need to use
Okay.
together to come up with the final calculations for the RFP submittal, but Exhibit B should hopefully be able to guide you through each of the steps and each of the tools to get the answer you need.
Great. Where is everybody today? Only 7 or 8 people on here?
Not sure. We were hoping for a big turnout, but we're happy to have the people who are here today. So
Good. Well, happy to be here. I guess everybody's watching the hearings.
oh, yeah,
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
Ofrecen como loco.
Yes, I was connected to the state pet notification. I just joined.
Palan grande y
And it's okay to call you if we have questions. Call David or Catherine or
general
Stephanie.
question. We can provide general questions. We can listen to general questions. Yes.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm.
That's all I can think of.
Okay, great. Is there anybody else with any other questions?
And welcome, Gustavo. I'm wondering if you have any questions about this urban greening application as well.
No, no questions at this time. I just wanted to hear and try
pero
to
hay
learn a
modo de
little bit more.
que pueden,
Thank you.
como la estaba diciendo el otro día, porque le estaba diciendo.
No problem. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, we can go ahead and we'll finalize the meeting. We can stay online for a couple more minutes in case anybody does pop in. But as we said earlier, we will be posting this on our website where you can find the RFP, and the recordings should be up there shortly. And but like I said, we do appreciate everyone who's here, and we'll stay on for a few more minutes, but thank you.
I have an observation from previous CAL FIRE grant calculating carbons that although camphor trees aren't popular because they're messy, they get huge, and they have time after time, they are the winners in the carbon uptake category. So I hope people will, even though they're messy, a little, you know, they drop things. I hope people will be open-minded to using them, you know, in the Shafter area. They're beautiful trees. So
That's
I
great.
didn't see messy on the list of criteria, non-messy.
Well, thank you for sharing, Melissa.
Oh, you're welcome.
We're definitely looking forward to learning more about the trees and urban projects like this. So thank you for giving us some tidbits we didn't know.
You're welcome. It's a very exciting project. Very exciting.
We're actually very excited to get it going. So
Good. I'll do my best on my RFP.
thank you.
Sure, thank you. Nobody else?
Okay.
And Melissa, I'll drop in here if into the chat. There's a spot that's on our grant application and project plan page that kind of lays out very clearly all of the links to the RFP, the application. It'll have our boundary map as well. Hopefully some good resources for folks that plan to apply. And this spot will also be where we record the posting if you wanted to revisit anything.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'll take a picture.
And of course, if you do lose your pictures, feel free to give us a call. We'll happily send it over to you.
Oops, I lost it already. Is it in chat? There. It is.
Yes, it's on the chat.
Okay. We did plant 50 trees at Shafter High School, and we have some great volunteers. Those high school kids are great. And also the one of the teachers gave me his phone number and said, call me anytime, I'll get you kids to help plant. So we're okay using volunteers, right? Having
Absolutely.
little community projects.
Absolutely.
Oh, perfect. Okay. And it makes them feel good, and they get their high school credits and the community service credit. And it's just really fun.
There
I
were
have a
several
fun
schools that
time.
were listed as suggested areas, so I'm sure that would be good for the kids to help out.
Mm-hmm. You have a
And-
lot of schools on there. We've planted at Redwood. I think it's Redwood or Sequoia. Oh, I can't remember. Redwood or Sequoia. And the high school, and some in town by the, well, you probably don't know the town very well, but it's really pretty with a gazebo and all kinds of things we planted there. So I'd love to do the other schools too, all the schools.
That
Kids
sounds great.
need shade and fresh air.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're seeing those. So that'd be great.
And Melissa, like David and Kat mentioned, this work that we're doing is in partnership with our community. We call it a community steering committee, and it's kind of just made up of residents, business members, just community-based organizations. And kind of as we get down the road to any planting events, I'm sure that's something that this steering committee would love to hear about and be involved in, just thinking down the road.
Great. Very exciting.
Okay. Is there any other questions from anybody else? Okay. Well, with that, I think we'll go ahead and end the meeting. Like I said, feel free to email me or call us to let us know if you have any other general questions. But we really look forward to everybody's present proposals and applications. And we really thank you for your time. And like I said, once again, we'll be posting this on our AB 617 grants website for Shafter. So for those who missed this meeting, you can catch up on that on the video there. So with that, well, thank you, everybody. We wish you all a great day and stay cool outside.
You too. Thank you very much. You guys take
Thanks,
care and have a
everyone.
happy 4th of July.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Same with
Melissa.
you.
Okay.
Thanks, Gustavo. And
Bye-bye.
thank you, Amelia.
Pues yo les
Yeah, thank you.
pero no se las pidió.
Thank you, everyone.